So, with all the highs that we've heard and seen from the Black Flag remake, we have finally hit our first iffy moment. I was going to say L, but I'm just going to say iffy, it just sounds better. So, a few days ago, we had an AMA, and literally 1 week basically straight after the reveal trailer. So, you know what? Props to them to actually keep us updated with quite a few things. But within that AMA, there was a lot of questions. I mean, a lot. I mean, even I put a few questions in. They didn't get answered, but I mean, I don't blame them, right? Because this was obvious. There was only going to be a certain amount they could answer, and there's only going to be certain things they could talk about, right? But quite a few things were quite new, and some other stuff just gave us a bit more context to stuff that we already knew that were kind of revealed in that trailer from a few weeks ago, right? But one important thing, which I was actually kind of not surprised that they answered, but I thought they might not and just save that for a later date, was, is there going to be hidden blade combat? Right? Now, if you're an OG Assassin's Creed player like me and basically majority of everyone, you know that was a staple within like the first 5 or 6 games. But we haven't had it since the original Black Flag. And no, I'm not even going to count Shadows, because that's a bit of a cheat, because it's like a Tanto blade, right? So they finally gave their answer, and yeah, you know when I mentioned that iffy moment earlier, this is it. So unfortunately, we're not going to be actually getting hidden blade combat. And it's not like I'm angry or mad. I'm more like, why? I think that's what a lot of people deep down feel. I know you got people kind of going a bit over the top saying, oh, this is not faithful, this is this is that. Like, I get it. If you want to be very technical, but it's not really faithful if you want to get really technical. But in the grand scheme of things, this won't have a big negative impact on my experience. It won't lower my score or anything. I just don't get why it's not in there. Now, at first glance, you could say, oh, it's got to be an engine thing, especially since obviously the last 4 or 5 Assassin's Creed games, which are in this sort of RPG era, have completely reworked the whole combat compared to the older games. Because the older games are very animation-based, right? Where the RPG era of combat is very hitboxy, you can dodge around anywhere, you can swing around freely and miss. But when you look at Black Flag Resynced, it's kind of got a bit of both. It still has elements of the OG Black Flag system in terms of its combat still there, while also then incorporating stuff from Shadows, right? Which is great, that's cool. We're kind of getting the best of both worlds. But that's why I don't believe that that's the reason. Look, I'm not a game developer. Maybe that is the reason. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so we're going to be dual wielding Edward's sword, swinging around, going into a sort of animation type finisher. But then I'm looking at it like, well, how's that any different than having 2 blades, swinging around, going into a finisher? You know what I mean? And also, you know what this kind of sneakily confirms to me? And by the way, this is not officially confirmed, apart from the hidden blade not being actually allowed to be used in actual open combat. But that makes me believe that hand-to-hand combat then is not going to be a thing. That also makes me believe that picking up, you know, the weapons that you can disarm from the enemies in the OG Black Flag is not going to be a thing, which that is a bit of a letdown. I really like picking up the one-handed sword or picking up the musket or the axe. They were really cool to use, right? Like I said, not integral, but very cool. They were just added sort of options or bonuses. And talking about that, this is why it's very weird to me, right? Because no doubt some people may be misremembering, thinking, oh, well, the hidden blade was kind of just like a random side optional sort of weapon you can use anyway back in Black Flag. No. It's one of 3 main mandatory weapons that you always can use on you at any moment in time in the game. 1 being the dual wield swords, 2 being your, fists, and 3 being the hidden blades. That single sword, that musket and that axe were all optional. You could not carry that with you at all time and use it. You had to find people, disarm them, and then use it. This is why I also find it very strange that hidden blade combat is not in the game, because it's a mandatory weapon system, part of Edward's kit in the original Black Flag. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a bit strange. And what that does is just give me another little sneaky confirmation, not official, another sneaky confirmation that clearly elements of the main narrative are going to be reworked, not changed, but reworked from a gameplay aspect. Because for all of us who have played the OG Black Flag, we all know about the prison segment, we all know about the island segment, and a few other little segments in the story, and even in some of the side activities where Edward doesn't have his main weapons. He doesn't have his dual swords. He only has his hidden blade or his fists. So how's that going to work? Clearly they're going to have to cater and build elements of the gameplay part of the mission to fit that. We can still use our hidden blade, we just won't be able to use it in open combat. So I guess that will force more stealth, which is great. But what about if you get caught? Because clearly there's no desynchronization, right? Just like how they've reworked the tailing missions, you can just somehow just get into combat. Is it that you're just going to have to keep running away and hiding in the bush? It's going to be a bit weird, a bit immersion breaking, especially in the environment you're in. And talking about that, I kind of hope they don't restructure it where the first objective is to find your weapons and you find them immediately, and then you continue the mission on exactly how it is in the OG. Because yet again, it defeats the whole point and purpose of the situation you're in. You're stranded on an island, right? All hope is lost. You're completely weak, defenseless. You know, all of a sudden you just find your weapons. Same within the prison, you know what I'm saying? So I hope it's not like that, or if there is, there's a really good narrative reason, or it makes sense, or it feels worth it getting our weapons. Like, I don't want to just instantly be handed to us from the get-go within the first few seconds of the mission. Hopefully not, though. Now, at the end of the day, it's not really a big deal to me. Like, I know it may seem like it with what I've just brought up, but it really isn't. Like, it won't affect my experience. I know it will for some people, but like I said, I'm just wondering why. Like, I don't know. And look, maybe we'll never know. It's not the end of the world. A lot of the other systems and features that they've put into the game seem really good. Like I said, Hidden Blade is still going to play a part in combat in one way, shape or form, even if it's just a finishing move. So it's not like it's completely irrelevant, right? And plus, there's still more things to be revealed in the future. And at the end of the day, these devs, right, you see the passion. A lot of these worked on the original Black Flag. They know what they're doing. There's obviously a reason for it. I do think it's a little bit, you know, a bit strange, but it's not the worst thing. Black Flag Resynced looks absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to play it. I really want to talk more about it as well, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that I want to talk about. But what do you think, though? Is it really a big downgrade for you? Will it impact your experience? Is it something that you desperately need? Would you like it if they add it in post-launch content? And also, when it comes to the sort of restructuring of certain missions, like I mentioned earlier, how do you think that's going to go? Because I'm actually very interested about that. But yeah, you know, if you want to see more Assassin's Creed videos, just please talk to me, guys and girls. I'm bored. Speak to me about Black Flag. I absolutely love it. Just please talk to me. But I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.